Alrighty, I think we are live. Alrighty. Let me know if you guys can hear me, but yo, what is up, everybody? It is your boy Fitzmon TV here, aka GLauren33, and I am back here tonight with the Legit Shoot podcast. Here tonight with your Monday Night Raw review for December 9th, 2019. It's been a grip, guys. It's been a grip. It's been, I think, over a month and a half since we had our last Monday Night Raw review, alright? If you guys have been following me on social media, you guys know why. I did a video on it just I think it was last Tuesday or Wednesday, or Thursday, I don't remember. But, for those who didn't know, last month in November, I had my channel hacked, alright? Had my channel hacked, and it was gone for a good month. It was gone for a good month. Then I was able to get the channel back, and then the person who hacked my channel put the channel in copyright trouble. So it looked for a while like that there was a chance that Fitzmon TV was gonna get deleted. It was actually, the channel actually got terminated for a couple days, and then I was able to fix it. So Fitzmon TV is officially back in action. So it feels good to be back. I did a SmackDown live review on Friday. And, I'm slowly trying to get back into the thick of things, I didn't do YouTube for a month and a half. And now I'm happy to be back. I'm just trying to get, the new schedule and everything planned out accordingly. But talking about Monday Night Raw tonight, alright? It was the go-home show for TLC. And I'm going to be honest, for most of this show, I would not be surprised if most people didn't even know that WWE has a pay-per-view on Sunday. I would not be surprised if most people didn't know that Sunday is WWE's last pay-per-view for the rest of 2019, because we have a couple weeks left. And if I'm WWE, after the dismal year I've had, right? Because WWE has had in my opinion, WWE's had a terrible year. Terrible year. Alright? And I don't care what anybody says. That's just pure fact. That's pure fact. Alright? WWE has had a very, very bad year, in my estimation. And if I'm WWE, I want to end 2019, end the decade, in fact, end it with a bang. End it with a really good pay-per-view, not only to go into 2020 with momentum, but also set up on the road to the Royal Rumble. Alright, because we know Royal Rumble is one of the big 5 WWE pay-per-views, and it's the first big pay-per-view of the year. Plus, it sets up the road to WrestleMania. Even though I think it's pretty predictable who's going to win the Royal Rumble 2020, on the men's side, there's 2 options, in my opinion, either Roman Reigns or Kevin Owens. And on the women's, it's either Shayna Baszler or Sasha Banks. It's one of those 2. But still, the road to the Royal Rumble is so important because it sets up basically everything that's going to happen from the Royal Rumble into WrestleMania. Alright, and it also sets up a picture of where WWE wants to go with certain things into the new year. And the thing about it is, WWE, they have not done a good job this year at all with most of the stuff they've done. Alright, and other than a couple of items on this show, this was not a good show. This was a very boring go-home show, and a lot of stuff made you sit there and scratch your head like, what the hell's going on? Yes, the big thing coming out of Monday Night Raw tonight is Seth Rollins' heel turn. Seth Rollins is finally a full-fledged heel. He has aligned himself with AOP, the first faction we've basically seen Seth Rollins in since the days of the Shield, since the days of the Authority. And man, they did a good job of it tonight. I'm not saying overall, because over the last 2 weeks, they've teased either Seth Rollins going to stay as a babyface, or they teased Seth's going to be a tweener. But no, tonight they went all the way through with it. Seth Rollins is a full-fledged heel. And what they did tonight, specifically with the segment in the back, with, Seth Rollins sitting in the truck, in the chair, and then spinning around, and taking off the hoodie, revealing himself as, the leader of this new faction with AOP. And then his promo afterwards, they did a great job. This was probably the best Seth Rollins promo we've seen in a very long time. Alright, very long time. Because we've been so used to the boring stuff Seth has done as a babyface as of late that you may think that, Seth Rollins doesn't have a good promo in him. I saw this funny thing on social media. The one thing that Seth Rollins is missing as a heel is that iconic evil laugh he has. I can kind of do it, you know. You know, I can kind of do it myself. You know, the Seth Rollins evil laugh. I absolutely love it. I hope he brings it back. But that's what we're basically going to start the show with, because it's the most noteworthy thing that happened on the show. You had a United States Championship match with AJ Styles and Rey Mysterio that main evented the show. You had more build with, and it's official, we're going to be getting a women's tag team title match, a women's tag team championship TLC match at TLC. We'll have the Kubaki Warriors going up against the Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair. I'm going to have to rant a little bit about Becky Lynch. If you guys saw my SmackDown Live review on Friday, or this weekend, you guys kind of should know where I'm going with this. I am very displeased with how Becky's been booked. Alright? But we'll get into it a little bit. But those are the big major points. You know, there was a little bit of build between Aleister Black and Brandy Murphy. A match that I think can steal the show at TLC, so we'll talk about that. And unfortunately, we're going to have to talk about Rusev and Lana, which I am not looking forward to, you know, dissecting. Really. Because for some reason, Vince McMahon and his crazy brain, his crazy old-ass brain, thinks that Lana and Rusev and Bobby Trashley, he thinks that this storyline is enjoyable, when it's not. It is not enjoyable at all. I absolutely hate it. I tested. I can't. I don't want to see any more of it. But based off of all the news and rumors we've been hearing over the past few weeks, Vince McMahon loves it, and he actually wants this feud to continue past the Royal Rumble. And I think the guy's a maniac. But you know, I don't know. I don't know. You know. Also, just a quick note. Real quick. I've seen Liv Morgan tweeting tonight, alright? And the thing about it is, WWE just tweeted this. Or I'm just looking at this tweet right now. Liv Morgan tweeted something on her Twitter account saying, y'all need to get ready. So it seems like Liv Morgan, finally, we haven't seen Liv Morgan. If you guys remember, back in July, I was actually at the SmackDown show for this. This was one of the only WWE shows I went to all year. There was a SmackDown right in my hometown. And Charlotte Flair had a one-on-one match with Liv Morgan. And Charlotte buried Liv Morgan. Alright, and Liv Morgan had a crazy temper tantrum after the match. And, you know, basically they've been teasing. This happened in July, remember. Now we're in December. Liv Morgan has not been seen on WWE television in 5 months, and they've been teasing a whole new look for Liv Morgan. I wonder what it is. You know, I'm willing to bet it's probably going to have something like, maybe she dyes her hair. She's going to have a completely different character. We know that. And WWE, if she's been off television for 5 months, hopefully it means something. WWE's women's division has been so weak since Ronda and Sasha left. Sasha came back and it was good for a good 2 months, but then it's just went right back to absolute garbage. And it's not Sasha's fault, but still, WWE relies on only like 5-6 women. On Raw, they only rely on Becky, Charlotte, the Kubaki Warriors. That's it. And then on SmackDown, they rely on basically Sasha, Bayley, and that's pretty much it. All right, and there's like nobody else means anything on these shows, and it's ridiculous. So I'm hoping with this whole Liv Morgan makeover, that's what they're calling it. You can see the thing right here. Liv Morgan makeover coming soon. So I'm actually kind of intrigued. I'm not gonna say I'm excited, because anytime you get excited for anything in WWE, they crush your hopes and dreams and make it not special. Right here. But either way, you know, when this whole Liv Morgan makeover happens, it's something I'm gonna keep an eye on. All right, because I think Liv Morgan, she has some talent, and definitely it's time for WWE. One of the things they have to focus on in 2020, they need to focus on tag teams and women's wrestling. Those are the two major concerns on the main roster right now. They need to make the woman more important. All right, it can't just be about Sasha, Bayley, Charlotte, and Becky. You have way more women on that roster. Especially, I'm expecting people like Bianca Belair, Shayna Baszler. I expect, you know, a good amount of WWE names, women's names from NXT to get called up. All right, I think we're going to see, a lot of NXT women's call-ups in 2020. And the tag team division has been garbage for a good year and a half now. All right, I wish Jeff Hardy could figure out his situation, because the tag team division can really use the Hardy Boys. I wish the Usos could come back. The Usos, in my opinion, are the best tag team in the world when they're fully added. So I would love to see the Usos come back. But we know the Usos, they're dealing with their situation. So hopefully those are the two things that we really need to focus on in 2020, in my opinion. But yeah, I just want to talk about that Liv Morgan thing really quickly. All right, but we're gonna get into Monday Night Raw right now. And I'm gonna start off with the Seth Rollins heel turn. All right, I want to play. I haven't done this in a while, but I want to play the promo Seth cut. All right, and it was a really good promo. I'm gonna say this, in the promo itself. Seth, everything he said was believable. It felt like he was actually taking some of his real life personality, some of his frustrations with real life, into it, because we know Seth's been criticized so much, and I blame about 60% of the criticism on Seth himself, because he's a clown and he doesn't know how to act on social media or in interviews. All right, because if you watch these interviews with Seth Rollins, he's always blaming other people for the way he's booked or the way people react to his matches, like what happened with Bray Wyatt at Hell in a Cell when the guy was an absolute clown. All right, but still, I want to play the Seth Rollins promo. If you guys didn't know what happened, basically the big thing is, earlier in the night, Kevin Owens was given a lead pipe by Rey Mysterio. Rey was like, use this lead pipe, it will have your back. And Kevin Owens takes the lead pipe, looking for AOP for most of the night. Then there was a segment where Kevin Owens came out to the ring, and then Seth Rollins came out to the ring. And he was like, I want to call AOP out because, I want us to figure this out. But they didn't come out. Kevin Owens came out, and basically he said to Seth Rollins, I know why AOP's not here. I looked around the whole building for them. They're not here. They're not here because you told them not to show up. All right? But then 5 seconds later, we see the Titantron, and we see a big black van or SUV pull into the arena. And who is it? It's AOP. AOP arrives, and Kevin was like, yeah, how ironic. The second that you're out here talking about AOP arrives in the arena. All right? And then Seth exits the ring, and he's like, I've tried everything I can. This is AOP is your problem. I'm just going to leave. All right? Your problem. And then later in the night, we see Kevin Owens. He goes backstage to the car that AOP came into the arena with. He's bashing the windows with the lead pipe. But then from behind, he gets attacked by AOP. All right, I'm just speeding past this. All right, we'll talk about all this a little bit later. I just want to lead into Seth Rollins' promo. But basically, we see Kevin Owens is getting beat down by AOP. And then if you look in the back of the car, that AOP was in, there's like a white chair. There's a white chair, and then all of a sudden the chair spins around slowly. And guess who it is? It's a man in the black hoodie with his face down. The hood comes out, and it is Seth Rollins. All right, I love the way they did this. Seth Rollins, he peers his head out. He jumps out of the van, takes off his sweatshirt, and then he says, "Kevin, I'm sorry, but you asked for this." All right, and then he hits him with a devastating curb stomp on the the concrete. I don't know if Seth was injured, because before that, AOP, they actually whipped the door across Kevin Owens' face, and it looked like it actually hit him. So, KO could have got a concussion. He could have had a broken nose. I didn't get a good look at KO's face after the attack, but hopefully KO is okay, because that did kind of look, a little bit brutal. But after this, Seth comes out to the ring, and he cuts a promo. I have it loaded up, and I am really excited for you guys to hear this. So, quick ads playing. But yes, this is Seth Rollins, and this was basically him ranting about the WWE universe for The whole point of Seth's promo is he believes that the universe turned their back on him. Because he tried to do everything for them and they will never agree. But here we go.
What do you want from me? I've been asking myself that for a long time now, because you see, you and I, we used to get along. We used to see things eye to eye, and then somewhere along the way, it all went wrong, and I'm trying to figure out why. Why? I did everything right. I don't take nights off. I fight through injuries every single time I walk through that curtain and I get in that ring. I lay it all on the line for each and every one of you.
I'm not going to sit here and lie. Seth's giving some really good points in this promo. All right? Really good points. You know, he's talking about how at first, when Seth first turned babyface way back in 2016, ironically, you know what's ironic about this is 2016 when Seth originally turned babyface. Guess who he turned babyface against? He turned babyface against a heel Kevin Owens. Guys, remember at the time that's when Kevin Owens was the Universal Champion, and you know he had Chris Jericho, and we had that fantastic duo with KO and Chris Jericho, the list and all that. Yes, and Seth was the babyface. It's ironic. It's ironic now. Here we are 3 years later, or right around this time, 3 years later. The roles are reversed. KO is now the babyface. KO is arguably the most over babyface on the entire main roster, other than probably Becky Lynch. All right, and now Seth is the heel. It's ironic, you know. All things go full force. It's like a little bit of a cycle. It started with Seth as the babyface and KO as the heel 3 years ago. 3 years later, now KO is the babyface and Seth is the heel. And then Seth's talking about how at first everything was right. Everything was right. The way Seth was booked for, I would say, the first 2 years of his babyface run was done great. All right, remember, he had that 2018, Seth was probably arguably the best babyface in the entire company. All right, you guys remember when he was mostly going after the Intercontinental Championship that year? Because that was the year when we were basically force-fed we were force-fed Roman versus Lesnar at both Mania and SummerSlam. And then during that time, mostly Seth was just going after the Intercontinental Championship. Remember when he had the Intercontinental Championship Open Challenge? You know, it's kind of similar to what Cena did with the U.S. Open Challenge in 2015. Seth was doing a fantastic job. And, you know, and then into 2019, this year, Seth won the Royal Rumble. He was the favorite and he won it. And then he did what we all wanted him to do. We all had his back. He went up against Brock Lesnar. He beat Brock Lesnar. And then that's when it slowly fell. And I'll blame the first part on WWE itself. I'll blame WWE because the first part was all WWE because during, I would say up till SummerSlam, you guys remember the first 3 months of Seth's Universal title run. He had that great match, that great 1 month feud with AJ Styles. They had one of the best matches all year at, I think it was Money in the Bank. But then it all went wrong because Lesnar won Money in the Bank. Alright? And then they kept teasing for at least a good month that Lesnar was going to cash in on Rollins. Alright? And then he did cash in on Rollins. I don't remember what pay-per-view it was. Was it Extreme Rules? Because remember, during that time we had Seth versus Baron Corbin. One of the worst feuds all year. Potentially even worse than what we're getting now with Baron Corbin and Roman Reigns on SmackDown. Alright? And it seems how ironic the situations were for Seth versus Roman. Alright? In 2018, Roman faced Lesnar at both Mania and SummerSlam. This year, Seth faced Lesnar at both SummerSlam and Mania. Alright, and arguably two of the worst feuds all year, Seth versus Corbin, Roman versus Corbin. See how ironic that is? But because back in the day it was Roman. Now things are flipped with Seth. The only thing different is they actually turned Seth heel. They never turned Roman heel. I feel like turning Roman heel would have made Roman an even bigger babyface. Roman didn't start actually getting cheered until his whole leukemia thing. But don't worry, those boos will come back for Roman. Just wait till they book Roman Reigns versus The Fiend at Mania. It's coming, folks. It's coming. Anyway, back to Seth. So after Brock won Money in the Bank and he cashed in on Rollins, that's when everyone was losing faith. Even though Seth and Lesnar had a great match at SummerSlam. One of the best pay-per-view matches of the year, in my opinion. It was a little bit too late because Seth should have never lost the title to Lesnar in the first place. Lesnar should have never cashed in on Lesnar. Also, Seth should have never had a 3-month feud with Baron Corbin. Those two instances, Seth feuding with Corbin for 3 months in a feud that no one cared about. Remember how horrific it was when they had to give us Seth and Becky defending against Lacey Evans and Corbin in Winner Take All? Remember how bad that was? It was absolutely disgusting, pitiful. I was like, why are we getting this? No one wants to see this. No one gives a damn about any of this. But they kept giving it to us. That was their first mistake. Second mistake was having Lesnar take the title off of Seth. There was way more people that Seth could have defended that title up against other than Baron Corbin. If you wanted to give Corbin one chance at the Universal Championship, fine. But it should have just been one. He should have gotten 3 or 4. It made no sense and it was absolutely garbage. Alright? And then after that, you had Seth regain the Universal Championship at SummerSlam. What did you do after that? You decided stupidly to rush the Fiend's push and give us the Fiend versus Seth Rollins at Hell in a Cell, which was absolutely garbage. And we all know that because it was one of the most criticized, one of the worst pay-per-view endings of all time. Absolute garbage. There's no one that defends it because everyone knows it was garbage. Pure garbage. So after that, Seth was done. There was no coming back for Seth after what happened at against Bray Wyatt at Hell in a Cell. Because Seth knew the finish in advance. He could have easily gone to WWE, easily gone to Vince, all right, as one of the most over guys in the company, one of the top guys in the company, and be like, hey, this ending makes no sense. I don't agree with it. I would rather drop the title to the Fiend than do this finish. But he didn't. He was a yes man and accepted it, and that was the last straw. The first straw was the Baron Corbin feud. The second straw was him losing the title to Brock Lesnar via Money in the Bank, all right, just to regain it at SummerSlam. It made Rollins winning the title at WrestleMania look stupid because Lesnar regained the title just for Rollins to regain it again at SummerSlam. Third strike, Bray Wyatt and the Fiend at Hell in a Cell. All right? It's not all Seth's fault, even though he's been a clown in interview sessions and on social media because he doesn't know how to talk. He's always trying to blame other people for things that he could have changed, some things that he couldn't control. All right? Yes, Vince makes the head decisions, but you have a voice. You're in this company. You're smart enough to know. You should be smart enough to know that, hey, this is not right. Some of the decisions that Vince is making is not right. Instead of sitting there being a yes man just so you can keep your championship belt. No one wants to hear that crap. Alright? That's the reason why the fans turned on Seth. Seth, you want to know where it went wrong? It started with the Baron Corbin feud and it ended after you just decided to be a yes man and go along with the ending to Hell in a Cell. It's that simple. Back to the promo.
I stick my neck out for you guys. And not just in the ring, but in the media too. And what do I get?
That's where you get. That's it. See, like I just said, no you don't. The way Seth talks in social media, the way Seth talks in interviews, he comes off as a clown. He comes off as a blithering idiot. He's not defending the fans. He's actually shitting on the fans. Alright? So don't go give us that garbage. Yes, Seth made some good points. He does give his all in the ring. Seth's an amazing performer. Not gonna lie, he's had some amazing matches in his career. And he's one of the more consistent performers on the main roster. He's not the best wrestler in the world. He's nowhere close. Maybe he's in the top 10, top 15. But he's nowhere close to the top best in the world. Alright? Maybe in 2018, maybe there's a chance he would be there. But based on what he's done this year, no, he's nowhere close.
What do I get? I get spit on, I get disrespected, and I'm sick of it. I came out here last...
you know, even though I disagree with some of his points here, I like the promo. I really do.
Week. And I told Kevin Owens, I told you guys, I had nothing to do with the AOP, and that was the truth. But once again, the truth is not good enough for you. So tell me, in 2019, what is good enough for you people? What is good enough for you? I beat Brock Lesnar not once, but twice. Brought the Universal title back to Raw for you, and that was still not enough.
No, Seth. What you did at WrestleMania, when you beat him at WrestleMania, you did it right. But you should have went to WWE management. I don't care what Brock Lesnar has to say. You should have said, no. Like, it makes me winning the Royal Rumble, it makes me beating Brock at WrestleMania look like a joke. If you're just gonna have him win Money in the Bank just to take the title from me, it makes no sense. Seth should have never lost the title to Brock. If you lost it to somebody else, that's completely different. All right, if you lost it to Styles or Baron or I don't know, Drew McIntyre or somebody else, you know, and then regained it, that's different. But the fact that he lost it to Brock after everything he went through, from winning the Royal Rumble to going to WrestleMania, alright, after everything he went to, just to have him lose the title to Brock and then regain it just 2 weeks later at SummerSlam, looks stupid. Looks stupid. Alright? Use your head, Seth. Use your head. You're smarter than that.
Your negativity has become a self-fulfilling prophecy. And that self-fulfilling prophecy has turned your fiction into fact. It has turned me to stand side by side with two men who understand. It has turned me to stand side by side with the AOP.
And I like it. I like how he said, your negativity has turned into a self-fulfilling prophecy. Even though I disagree with it, but in terms of a storyline standpoint, and the AOP come out and they stand side by side, which you guys can see in the thumbnail of this video, they did it right. Alright, I liked how they did the promo. The promo was good. You know, basically the whole promo was about Seth shitting on the fans. And it was a well done promo. Alright, well written, even though I disagree with some points of it, just from a pure logic standpoint. But still, it was a good promo, and, you know, I'm proud, you know, that they finally did it. They listened to the fans, and they turned Seth heel. You know, and maybe at some point down the line, you know, maybe after a year, or, you know, maybe 2 years, maybe you can turn Seth back into a babyface, and hopefully this time they'll get it right. But for right now, Seth needs to be a heel. This is what he needs to freshen his character up. You know, and I'm gonna like this. I want to see where they go with this Kevin Owens feud. You know, it's gonna be interesting to see where they go with Seth in 2020, because now he is a heel. You know, he's not gonna, you know, win the Universal or not the Universal. He's on Raw. He's not gonna win the WWE Championship anytime soon. You know, especially with Lesnar. Lesnar's a heel. So it's gonna be interesting to see where they go with Seth, especially going to WrestleMania season, because we all know Seth is one of WWE's top guys. And now, if he's a heel, it's gonna be interesting to see, you know, what babyface they try to put him against for WrestleMania. You know, but for right now, they turned Seth heel. Great. The promo was good. The heel turn was good. You know, I like the fact they had Seth in the van coming out with the hood and everything. It was like one of those reveals you see in the movie. Even though I knew it was him the second I saw the shoes, but still, it is what it is. But anyways, that's about it for the Seth Rollins YOUTUNE. Let me know what you guys think about that. But we're gonna get into the rest of this show. Just wanted to really, spend the first part of the podcast talking about Seth Rollins and his heel turn. But the show actually started off with, and this is nauseating garbage. It started off with Rusev and Lana getting divorced. This was like, what, 17, 20 minutes? This was absolutely garbage. I'll say this. This was not the worst segment in the feud. The worst segment in this feud, one of the worst segments of all time, in my opinion, was the Lana I'm pregnant segment. Where, they had Lana actually fake a pregnancy. But this was a bad segment, more just because of Lana. Because Lana has just become pure get off my TV material. We've heard reports that Lana is now re-signed with WWE for the next 5 years. What an idiot. I'm sorry, but what an idiot Lana is. I don't care what anybody says. You can't defend it. She is an idiot. Alright? The fact that she wanted to re-sign with WWE. And now there's rumors saying that Rusev may re-sign with the WWE. Rusev, I don't know, get the hell out of there, go to AEW. I love the Rusev Day character, but we all know WWE's never going to treat Rusev seriously. They're not. But anyway, Jerry the King Lawler started off the show, announced that he would preside over this divorce, and then explained that Rusev's restraining order had been temporarily lifted for the night. Rusev came out in a Donald Duck t-shirt with a smile on his face. I actually liked the Donald Duck t-shirt. It looked pretty cool. And then Lana, angry, stopped to the ring. She had an attorney with her. And this was just... all this segment was basically Lana ranting. Lana, talked about how, there were, at a time she actually loved Rusev, and I want her, you to know that. But then you became addicted with sex. You became addicted with the WWE Universe. You didn't care enough about me. You didn't give me the attention I deserved. Blah, 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 this, blah, 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 that. Lana, whenever she speaks and she goes in her little rants, I either just put the remote and put on mute and just have, like, the subtitles play or the caption play. I just can't stand listening to Lana speak. I really can't. It's so annoying. It's so cringe. It's so bad. It's just bad. I don't know how Vince McMahon likes these segments, man. I really don't. Maybe it's because, Lana's a blonde and he loves getting hard to those people. But it's just hearing Lana talk alone just wants me to put, drink bleach. And just, keep myself from having to hear her speak. There was a part of this when they were arguing about their dog. I'm just like, what is this? What is this? I didn't come to watch Desperate Housewives. I came to watch wrestling. I don't understand how Vince likes these shows, and he wonders why the ratings are so bad. But after the contract was signed, Lana signed it. Rusev was about to sign the contract, but then he demanded one thing. He said he wanted a match with Bobby Lashley. And Bobby Lashley comes out, and he talked about he said, after all this is over, I'm going to marry Lana. Wow, you guys have been dating for what? How long has this storyline been going on? 2 months? And now you're just going to marry Lana. Wow, great. Good for you. Good for you. Even though we know in real life, anybody that knows that this is the storyline, Lana and Rusev are actually still married. Right? Not that anybody cares. But people are going to be out there, oh man, Rusev and Lana really got divorced for a TV storyline? No, they're still married in real life. You guys see them in public, they still have their wedding rings on, they're still married. It's just for the sake of the storyline. But, after this led to a Rusev and Lana brawl. A Rusev and Lashley brawl. And this would end with Rusev putting Lashley through the announce table. Or not the announce table, the contract signing table. Or the divorce signing table. Whatever. Alright? But this segment was garbage. It wasn't as bad as some of the other segments. It's mostly just Lana. When Lana just starts going off, it's just mute your TV, run for the hills. It's honestly that bad. Whenever Lana picks up a mic, I just want to go kill myself, gouge my eyes out, put earplugs in, just something. It's that bad. She just goes on and on and on. Like, is there nobody backstage that could tell Lana just to shut the fuck up? Really? There's no one on there that can tell her just to shut the hell up. She's so annoying. It's that bad. It's that bad. I don't understand how Vince likes these segments. If that doesn't tell you, if Vince liking these segments doesn't tell you that Triple H needs to take over ASAP, then I don't know what will. These segments are garbage. But we have a pay-per-view on Sunday. Instead of opening the show with the focus on, I don't know, the tag team championships or something else, one of your other major programs, you want to start with this. I'm not excited for the Rusev Bobby Lashley match. If I can, I'll try to figure out a way not to watch it. I am not excited for this match at all, And this is probably, if I had to make a prediction, and I just want to let you guys know, I don't think I made this announcement at the beginning of the pod, but sometime later this week, we will have TLC preview and predictions. I don't know when, but sometime later this week. Because the thing about it is, what makes it hard to do preview and predictions, you guys remember back when SmackDown was on Tuesdays, I would do preview and predictions on Wednesday or Thursday. But the thing about it is, now SmackDown's on Friday, which is only less than 48 hours before the pay-per-view. So it's kind of tough, to put a preview and prediction video on Saturday and just have the video up for one day, but then the video won't matter anymore because TLC is legit the next day. So maybe up, even though we know most of the matches for this card, there's still a couple matches that could get announced on Friday for SmackDown. But most likely, I'm thinking around Thursday to do, preview and predictions for most of the matches that have been announced. Just to let you guys know about that. But I'm not excited for Rusev and Bobby Lashley. I'm willing to bet Bobby will probably win just because they're going to continue this feud into the Royal Rumble. But whatever, we'll see. Not like anybody should care. We had Drew McIntyre versus Matt Hardy. Basically, before the match, McIntyre taunted Hardy by calling him a terrible father. Hardy actually showed a lot of aggressiveness in this match. Hardy, I want to congratulate him. Matt Hardy recently just had his third child with his wife. But basically, Hardy actually dominated the match. Hardy was actually the person in control. It makes sense. McIntyre, making those comments about his children that's going to make, Hardy angry and want to defend his family name. But McIntyre hit Hardy. Hardy went for the twist of fate, but McIntyre countered it with a future shock DDT and then finished Hardy off with the Claymore kick. It wasn't a bad match for what it was, but I don't see it meaning anything in the long run. Hardy, he should be in a tag team with Jeff Hardy, but we know what's going on with Jeff. At this point, I think Matt's contract's going to be coming up soon, so if Hardy doesn't come back, it's just better for Hardy to, to leave WWE, bring the broken gimmick to AEW. The thing is, Drew McIntyre, they're just putting him in random matches because they don't have anything for him right now. This is the problem, and I hate this. People wanted Lesnar to defeat Kofi Kingston, right? And at 7 seconds. Here's the problem. There's reports right now that they're setting up Lesnar for either going up against Tyson Fury or Cain Velasquez as WrestleMania. Both those matches are terrible. I said this on Twitter. Why don't you build somebody up in your own damn company? I would go with Kevin Owens. Build somebody up in your own company to take that title from Lesnar at WrestleMania. It makes no sense. This is the problem with not having the World Championship on your program. Because we know Lesnar's not going to be on TV until the Royal Rumble to go up against whoever they have him go up against. Probably like Randy Orton or somebody like that. You don't have a World Champion on your show most of the time. So you have basically everybody going up after the mid-card championship. And now this leaves people with like Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton, Ricochet with nothing. When some of them could be battling over the World Championship. No, because the World Champion is busy just sitting back in Minnesota hunting deer. This is my problem with Brock Lesnar being champion. I'm not saying Lesnar should not be in the company, But the thing is, whenever you make him champion, you know he's not going to be on TV for months. There's no World Championship on Raw. And it goes back kind of to Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins beat Lesnar twice. He's actually defeated Seth. Seth's defeated Lesnar for 3 World Championships over the years. It's terrible booking by WWE. Absolute garbage booking, man. Because if you had the World Championship, you could have more feuds. You could have people fighting over mid-card and World Championships. Now you have these medium matches with these matches that mean nothing between Drew McIntyre and Matt Hardy. Matches that don't mean nothing in the long run because there's really nothing to fight for. Because your World Championship is never on the show. But people don't understand that. This got me angry. We had a Raw Tag Team Championship match between the Street Profits and the Viking Raiders. These two, you guys know I'm a big Street Profits guy. I think they'll definitely be future Raw Tag Team Champions at some point. This started off with the Viking Raiders. They came out and offered an open challenge because they were saying they were tired of facing victims. They wanted challengers. All right, and they've been facing ever since they won those titles, even before they were Raw Tag Team Champions. Every week they've been facing local competitors and beating them, squashing them in 2 to 3 minutes. They offered a Raw Tag Team title opportunity to anybody, and they wanted competition. The Street Profits answered, okay. Even though I would much rather get a Street Profits Viking Raiders match at a pay-per-view, I'm not going to complain. This could be, given the time, this could be a damn good tag team match with 2 of the better tag teams in the entire company. No, this was basically a 5-minute it wasn't, I wouldn't say a squash match, but this was a very quick 5-6 minute match. Very disappointing. I'm not surprised the Viking Raiders won. I thought something like AOP or the OC Club was going to come out because first it was random that we were getting an open challenge. The open challenge came out of nowhere, and the fact that the Street Profits, because this could be a pay-per-view title feud down the line. The fact that we were getting this match on free television and the Viking Raiders beat the Street Profits clean. No interference by anybody in like 5 minutes. It's a problem. It's a problem because the Street Profits are one of the better tag teams in the entire company. They should not be losing. I don't care how good the Viking Raiders are. They should not be losing in 5 minutes. That's no. And now, this was a fresh matchup before. Now we've seen it. So next time we do see it, because this will probably not be the last time we see the Raiders against the Street Profits in a Tag Team Championship match. It won't feel as special since WWE wasted it in 5 minutes. Alright, if you're going to give us this match on free television, you could have given us more time. You have a 3-hour program. It's not like SmackDown or NXT where you have 2 hours. You have 3 hours. You could have easily gave these two teams 15, 20 minutes. And I love the Raiders, but they beat the Profits clean. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? It's like absolute garbage the way they book these shows. But after that was when Seth Rollins came out. Seth Rollins came down to the ring, and he asked the Raiders and Street Profits if they want, they could stay in the ring. But right now, this business doesn't really concern them, so he much rather have them get out. And both teams left, and that led into the Kevin Owens segment, which we talked about earlier with Seth's heel turn. Moving on, we had Aleister Black versus Akira Tozawa. If you guys have been following me on social media, I am a big Akira Tozawa fan. He was the first ever, well, no, not the first, but he was one of the early Cruiserweight champions, even though he only held that title for a couple days. Remember when he beat Neville? Akira Tozawa has a lot of talent. He's one of my guys that I really enjoy on the main roster, and I wish WWE would use him more. He has been on WWE television a lot more lately. You've seen him against Buddy Murphy and Drew McIntyre and other superstars in the last couple weeks, even though he's been losing. He also had like a Cruiserweight title opportunity against Leo Rush on 205 Live a couple weeks back. They had a really good match, actually. This was a good match. And I tell you, man, Tozawa is underutilized. The guy's very much underrated. He could be a huge player. Huge player. I think the guy has future United States champion all written all over him. You know, his English isn't the best, but you can work around that. The guy's great. He is great in the ring. And, man, he sells great, too. There was a point in the match where Akira Tozawa tried to do a suicide dive on the outside. Black hit him with a picture perfect running knee. Then he dragged Tozawa back in the ring, hit him with the Black Mass for the win. I really like Aleister Black. You know, I'm hoping, part of me wants to hope that in 2020, Aleister Black, they fix his booking. You know, the guy, Aleister Black, he could be a future Universal Champion. We talk about Tozawa. He has the potential to be a really good mid-card player. In my opinion, a future United States Champion if WWE would book him correctly. But Aleister Black, you know, after not being used almost all year after coming off the Raw and the Superstar Shakeup, the guy can be utilized greatly if WWE would let him. Alright? Aleister Black, the guy has WWE Champion written all over him, man. The fact that this guy's been underutilized for this long makes me sick to my stomach. But this was a good match, man. Like I said, Tozawa is underrated. I wish WWE would use more for him. Use more with him, man. But moving on. We had... This was bad. We had Andrade Cien Almas versus Humberto Carrillo. I don't care about Andrade versus Humberto because both these two will amount to nothing on WWE Raw. Just because Vince... First of all, Vince is not a fan of international superstars. And just because, you know, I read a report after watching JG's Off the Script this weekend about how, you know, Cedric Alexander, Vince McMahon has given up on Cedric Alexander. You know, how long, I'm telling you right now, it will only be a couple months till Humberto Carrillo until you're reading the report that Vince has completely given up on Humberto Carrillo. Andrade Cien Almas, in my opinion, he should be in the main event fighting, you know, battling out for the WWE Championship. Alright? I'm not saying Humberto doesn't have talent, but WWE will never push him. Never push him. He will end up like Cedric Alexander so fast. It's going to happen. You know, but the big one thing I wanted to speak about is WWE potentially teasing a breakup between Zelina and Andrade. So what happened at the end of the match is Humberto was running the ropes. And then Andrade was going to try to clothesline him off the ropes. Humberto dodged. Zelina was on the apron, and actually Andrade hit Zelina with the clothesline. And Zelina, I'll give this, Zelina did a really good job of selling the clothesline. She did a really good job with her sell. But that would lead to Humberto rolling up Carrillo. Humberto Carrillo. He rolled up Andrade, getting the 1, 2, 3. And after the match, we see Andrade, he's pointing at Zelina, blaming it on her. Zelina's like, me? What the hell you mean talking about me? And I love Zelina Vega. She's a beautiful woman. Aleister Black is pretty damn lucky to have Zelina Vega. But she's a beautiful woman. She's a great manager. You know, I don't know why WWE would be teasing. This is one of my problems with WWE. They're always breaking groups up way too early. Big Cass and Enzo, you know, and all this other stuff. Zelina is a great manager for Andrade. What I hate is Andrade, almost every match with Andrade ends the same way, with Zelina getting involved in some way, shape, or form. But I don't think it's smart for WWE to break these two together, or to break these two up. I don't think it's good for WWE to break these two up. Because Andrade, he's already not the best at English. If you break them up, you know, Zelina will fall to nothing, even though Zelina can wrestle a little bit. But I don't see WWE using Zelina in their women's division. With names like Becky, Asuka, Charlotte, Kairi Sane. I don't see Zelina amounting to much. And then, you know, she's just great in the manager role. She's great on the mic. You know, I just don't know why WWE would be teasing that. There's no need. What Andrade does not need to be broken up from Zelina Vega. What Andrade needs is better booking. The guy is a 5-star match, you know, machine. But WWE doesn't use him correctly. Which just makes me absolutely sick to my stomach. Because Andrade's too good. Every time I go back and see that match between Andrade and Johnny Gargano, man, I just think, how did WWE mess this guy up so badly? Absolutely hate it. Moving on, we had Buddy Murphy versus Zack Ryder. this was basically the same of what they did here with Aleister Black and Akira Tozawa. There was no way Black or Murphy were going to lose tonight, especially when these two are facing up against each other at TLC. Like I said, Murphy versus Black has the chance to be a show stealer. Has the chance to be the underrated best match of the night, in my opinion. If given the time, these two can absolutely tear the house down. I don't care that Zack Ryder, Kurt Hawkins, I like Zack Ryder, but the guy will never amount to anything on WWE. Like, I'm sorry. It wasn't a bad match for what all, but still. Because Ryder actually dominated a good amount of this match. Moving on. Yeah, there's not much else for us to talk about, but we had Eric Rowan versus local competition. There was what was the name of his opponent tonight? His opponent, it's not even listed here in the notes. But they're finding unique ways. We still have no idea what the hell is in Eric Rowan's little cage. All right, it has to be some kind of animal. But as the bell rang, the local competitor ran out the ring and took the cage and ran it up all the way to the top of the stage. Rowan ran after him. Basically, I was like, what the hell is this guy doing? If Rowan catches him, he's dead. All right, but the local competitor grabbed the cage, put it on the top of the stage, and ran around the arena to the back to the ring, because he was trying to get Rowan to be so concerned about his pet that he would get a quick count out victory, which is not bad, but still. Probably should have ran, I think, backstage and then ran back to the ring. But still, after Rowan got back to the ring, he hit the local competitor with 3 iron claws. The match ended by referee stoppage, because the ref saw that this poor competitor could not go anymore. And next time that competitor will probably learn not the best with Strowman's toolbox or whatever he has in there. Or not Strowman, Rowan's. My bad. Alright, next up, we had Becky Lynch versus the Kubaki Warriors, man. And I did not like this. First off, I'm going to have to go on a quick little mini rant about Becky Lynch. For those that don't know, I am a Becky Lynch fan. I like Becky Lynch. Last year, back when I was doing this podcast with my friend Moose, we were very pro Becky Lynch. We wanted to see Becky get pushed, because Becky was being underutilized. Then Becky became the man. She became the face of the company. But Becky has been misutilized since Mania. She has now been Raw. She's the longest reigning Raw Women's Champion of all time. But the reign doesn't matter. She hasn't done anything with the title, other than her 2-month feud with Sasha from SummerSlam to Hell in a Cell in October. She's done nothing. She hasn't defended the title in over 2 months. 2 months. And Becky actually noted this in a backstage interview last week. She has not defended the title since she beat Sasha inside Hell in a Cell, because she's had no competition. Part of that's on her, but most of that is on the company. But still, it is garbage that she's had no competition. Really. Her feud with Lacey Evans was garbage. Her feud with Natalya into SummerSlam was garbage. The only worthy part of her championship reign, the only good part, was against Sasha at Clash of Champions at Hell in a Cell. Survivor Series, we had that awful main event where her and Bayley and Shayna, which I still don't understand what went wrong there. But Becky's been going on how she has one last debt she wants to collect. She's collected all her debts. Now the debt she wants to collect is Asuka, because Asuka made her tap out at the Royal Rumble earlier this year, and now she really wants to collect this debt. They had Charlotte earlier in the day appear in Becky's locker room and say, I'm tired of getting beat down by the Kubaki Warriors, and I don't like you, Beck, but I don't like the Kubaki Warriors more. Let's team up. Let's go defeat the Kubaki Warriors. Let's take the tag team going. And I know where WWE's going with this because they can't wait to do it. You know WWE wants to make new Becky 2-belt shirts. All right, WWE wants to make those shirts again, and you know they want to make Charlotte a Grand Slam champion. All right, it would have made and as great as Becky and Charlotte are, as good as a match with the Kawaki Warriors is going to be at TLC, and it's kind of ironic because remember 1 year ago at TLC, remember that triple threat they had between Becky, Charlotte, and Asuka, and Asuka won the match, and then she went on to actually defeat Becky again at the Royal Rumble, make her tap out. Now 1 year later, the irony is we could see Becky get the ultimate playback. Becky could not only win the Women's Tag Team Championship, but she could become Becky 2 belts again. And the thing about it is, I would care more if Becky had competition. Because Becky has not defended the title in 2 months. Right? How many Raw title defenses does Becky actually have? Let's be serious here. She defended the title, 3 times against Lacey, once against Natalya, so I'm up to 4, and 2 title defenses against Sasha? So 6 title defenses? Because I don't think she's had any. I don't think she defended the title against Charlotte. Excuse me. So yeah, Becky's only had 6 or 7 title defenses, but she's been champion for 9 months. Yeah, great champion you have there, WWE. Fantastic champion. But still, I'm excited for the match at TLC. I don't want to see Charlotte get another championship reign. Especially since I hate when WWE does this. They just put 2 random individuals together. It kind of makes sense, when you talk about Becky and Charlotte's history. But still, they're not a tag team. They're not. They don't even like each other. But yet they're probably going to beat the Kawaki Warriors in an actual tag team at TLC. The Kawaki Warriors win, I will be happy, but I'll also be completely shocked. Because I really think Becky and Charlotte are going to win. I think WWE just really wants to have Becky 2 belts again so they can make the merch. And the WWE, they want to make sure the greatest woman superstar of all time. So that, WWE wants to make Charlotte a Grand Slam champion, unfortunately. But overall, the match, they had a handicap match between Becky and the Kawaki Warriors tonight. This was basically the same match we saw last week with Charlotte. The only difference here is that Becky was in it and Charlotte wasn't. The match was bad because I don't care how. I understand Becky's a champion and she needs to get a little bit of offense in. But Becky, had way too much offense. If you want to make your champions dominant, if you want to make your champions look important, you should have the Kawaki Warriors absolutely beat Becky down like it's nothing. Becky gets a couple hits here and there, but that's about it. No, Becky was actually wiping the floor with both of them, which makes no sense. But then, at the end of the day, this match it basically ended by disqualification. In the tease for what we're going to see Sunday, we saw Kairi Sane hit an elbow drop on Becky through a table, and it was a really good elbow drop because the table actually exploded. It went clean in half. It wasn't like one part broke and then the other part only partially broke or didn't break. No, the table completely cracked in half, which was a pretty good visual. But afterwards, we see Becky. She's in the medical tent, and then Charlotte comes over like, "How your match go?" And then Becky was like, "Oh, I will only do it because it will allow me to get my hands on Asuka." So it's official. This will probably be the main event of TLC. Look at the matches. This is probably going to be the main event of TLC. I kind of wish Sasha and Bayley could get involved a little bit. Maybe have like a triple threat TLC match. I think that would be fantastic. Because once again, Becky and Charlotte aren't a tag team. I hate that, a non-tag team, because I'm pretty sure Becky and Charlotte are going to win this match. Pretty sure. I'll be very surprised if the Kawaki Warriors win. But the thing is, Becky and Charlotte are not a tag team. That's the thing that pisses me off about this. They're not a tag team. And like, where you're gonna go? And the thing about it is, that's funny is, if Becky and Charlotte win, where do you go? I have a theory, a really quick theory, where you could go with this. All right, I'm thinking, all right, if Becky and Charlotte win, right? I think most of us agree that most likely the direction is either Sasha's gonna win the Royal Rumble or Shayna, right? What you do is, no matter what happens, we're probably getting Sasha versus Bayley at Mania and probably Shayna versus Becky at Mania. What do you do then? Who Charlotte will probably face? They'll probably bring. I'm on the bet. They'll probably bring somebody like Beth Phoenix out of retirement, you know, to go up against Charlotte, or they'll bring Lita out of retirement. They'll bring one of those names out. Wait, what happens now at Mania? What do you do? Well, I'm thinking maybe you could do at the Rumble or before that. I don't know. Or at what's the next pay-per-view after the Rumble? Is it the Elimination Chamber or is it Fastlane? I don't know. But after the Royal Rumble, no matter if Sasha wins or not, you can have Sasha and Bayley win the Women's Tag Team titles from Charlotte and Becky, which would be a fantastic match because we've seen those two teams have great matches before. Because those are the 4 best women on the roster, you know. But then you can use that to have the breakup between Sasha and Bayley, and then maybe if you want, you could have Asuka and Kyrie take the Women's Tag Team titles, or maybe have Alexa and Nikki Cross regain the titles, or if you want to do something different, I don't know. But you can use Sasha and Bayley. They win the tag team titles from either the Kubaki Warriors or Charlotte and Becky, and that leads to setting up the feud between Sasha and Bayley going to Mania. That's what I think they should do, but that's just my theory. Let me know what you guys think. But either way, I think it's going to be a damn good match between Becky, Charlotte, and the Kubaki Warriors. But we'll have to wait and see until this Sunday the way it all goes. But after Charlotte and Becky agree to partner up for this Sunday, Charlotte's walking out of the medical room, and she actually gets attacked by the Kubaki Warriors with chairs. So we've seen tables, we've seen chairs. Only thing we haven't seen is ladders. But in a backstage segment later on the show, we see the Kubaki Warriors with Charlie Caruso, and they're speaking Japanese. Caruso's like, "Can you please speak English? I don't know how to speak Japanese." So then Asuka's like, we want you. So Asuka's saying, her and Kairi Sane want Charlotte and Becky to challenge us for the Women's Tag Team titles at TLC. So the challenge is made. The match is official. So moving on to the last part of the show, I don't have much to say about this. This was a good match. We had AJ Styles versus Rey Mysterio. We know this was going to be a great match. All right. They've had better matches in the past, but this was a good match. They were rushing this match because of time. This match started with, I think 13 minutes left on the show. They did cut both before the match even went. We had Mysterio and Styles cutting backstage promos on each other, promising the wins. But basically near the end of the match, Lou Gallows and Carl Anderson arrived late to distract Rey Mysterio. Mysterio fought off the OC, but Rey Mysterio walked right into a Styles clash, which I thought, alright, there's only 30 seconds left in the show. Styles is going to win. He's going to become a 4-time United States champion. No, Randy Orton comes out of nowhere. You think he's going to hit the RKO, but he doesn't. He's just taunting Styles. Styles getting distracted by Mysterio. Styles getting distracted by Orton leads to a roll-up by Rey Mysterio. 1, 2, 3, and the show goes off the air with Mysterio celebrating his U.S. title win. So Randy Orton costs Styles the U.S. Championship again. So where does this lead? I don't know. I don't think the U.S. title is going to be defended at TLC, but I don't know. Because I remember, we had Hell in a Cell a couple months back, and it was only 3 matches announced. There was or 3 or 4. There was Charlotte versus Bayley, Sasha versus Becky, Bray versus Seth, and there was maybe one more match. And then, just to keep the show going, they added 3 or 4 matches as the night went on. So I don't know what's gonna happen. This is technically the most important title on Raw right now since Brock's not there. So we'll see where they go from here. But right now it looks like Mysterio is not going to have an opponent for TLC. But we'll have to wait and see if anything's announced before Sunday. They could definitely announce something random. But you know, Orton. So they're gonna continue this thing with Orton. Orton and Styles. We'll see where it goes. We've seen this feud already this year. The only thing is things are reversed now. Styles is the heel and Orton's the babyface. Even though Orton, you know, you could consider it a tweener, but we're just gonna call Orton babyface. That's a call him that. All right, because remember at Mania, Orton was the heel and Styles the babyface. So now the roles are reversed. But you know, overall, it wasn't a bad main event to close Raw. But I would probably much rather, in my opinion, I would have ended the show with the Seth Rollins heel turn. I would have ended with that because, you know, you have the ending with Seth, you know, doing the curb stomp on the AOP. And then, because Seth's probably not going to be at TLC. He's not going to have a match. I don't think KO's going to be there. Eventually down the line, we're going to get a Seth versus KO match. But I would have probably ended the show with the Seth heel turn. Because the way it looked pretty beautiful. So I would have had Seth do the heel turn, you know, hit the curb stomp on KO, and then come out, cut the promo, and then taunt or stand there with AOP to end the show. That's what I would have done, you know. But that's about it, really. You know, going to TLC, there's not much. We have Lashley versus Rusev, which I'm not excited for. I'm excited for the TLC match between Becky, Shaw, and the Kubaki Warriors. Even though I'm hoping the Kubaki Warriors win. And that's pretty much it, I think. You know, we have The Fiend versus Miz, but that's SmackDown. But there's not much announced for TLC. We're probably just going to have a bunch of... I'm on the bet we'll probably get like 3 or 4 random matches announced the day of TLC just to fill in time. But that's just my opinion. But I'll keep you guys updated if anything else is added to the card. We'll probably do TLC preview and predictions on Thursday. But other than that, guys, I want to thank you guys for coming back to the Legit Shoot Podcast. Good to be back, you know, after the month and a half break. But good to be back. Thank you guys for coming through. If you guys haven't yet, check out my SmackDown Live review that I put up on Friday where we talked about The Fiend versus The Miz, Sasha and Bayley against Lacey Evans, all that good stuff. So go check that out. As always, guys, follow me on social media. The link is in the description down below so you guys can talk to me. The best place to talk to me is on Twitter. I love talking to you guys on there. But I want to thank you guys for coming through to the podcast. Like I said, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, have notifications enabled so you guys know every time I post a new video. Gonna have some anime content, some more, and if any major WWE news is released, you guys know I got you guys covered with that. So as always, guys, thank you guys once again. I'm gonna get out of here. Good to see everyone. Peace.